for hwe nwumasua so ena afi mate Dr. Matthew Poku Prempesudin Matthew Owura Munyamfo se Chimensa Bunsudin mate maame frima opare chief of staff mate se nidin na mu metete sa Owura Jonkuma mete Jonkuma din wo mu a metete ya tetete ade ba chi ade sebia na esesa se kura obi kura se kwabra je Japan adan na ni nyina eye amenka se Ashanti hasa na se ehonum na free bar region we no beboa wo mo na eye sa na tia ananya sa na tia ya behwe sa nipa titi do modrin hwan na ni mu oduro pa sempo se region we hu hia wo partner papa ye beboa MPP amanyaku no mo break o mo yiti
so some we be some media about 1,000 questions
yes
no there are too many you but baba mo dey na happens but a kind of now we come to studio more about import restriction bill na yewe no me question back one me di bisa yeru atahiru and say idea no dey nkeye it is to ensure say we boost local productivity but as o mine no edeba dey na dey gu akwan mu e kire say betimi aye bibisa yeah one district one factory that is the time of industrialization ever form. But one district, one factory means that what industrialization and a year. So what that means is that we are boosting local productivity so that taxes come from export more. Then that will help us show up our currency, the CD against the dollar. That is the idea. That is the idea. But to say import restriction now, udi sugar, adiashem wabra maimuha. Commander ye no yentimian hye ama commander factory no entimian dijuma nanka ye nya sugar yetimi produce enka no hwe accounts book ma I say sugar production company commander esuchare and commander kokohwe enka no ye accounts books ubehunu say esuchare and commander na mean child yetimi we na say utimi di sugar adi shemu a it tells me say the motivation for bringing such a bill is not a noble one, but it is rather to create a kind of cartel that some people will use in the future. And I'm financial. Dr. Bawumia, says, and you see, Amrano, actually say, a year ahead, say, oh, a kuono, a near Bemwa, by that time, they sank utimi unipa. Betimi akwa kodisa ajuma na bata wechi na minia maintaining penny some da either MDC or MPP in the Fourth Republic say NEC and as a council of elders akwa kwatena say afre presidential candidate say bra na bebe yi unipa no na yenhwe se ne ebe ye minti bi da. It is always the decision of the flag bearer ono no be yi no de aba. No, not be justify before you say this is it. But why should there be a meeting? It is a tenant who is trying to become a landlord, and the children of the landlord will not allow the tenant to become a free landlord.
No, hello.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Me bacho quotation view.
Me say it tells you that a tenant can never be a landlord. That is the position of Dr. Bawumia now. He is a tenant trying to become a landlord. And the children of the landlord will not sit idle to let you, the tenant, become a landlord. And Kabane is saying, Yura Kufuado, wo yi Bawumia no. Omubisan, because he defended it. Was he ever called to a meeting, say, bra, na, sa okay, Yura Kennedy, a compra kwa sama okafa Dr. Bawumia the choice in those times, how they were opposed to it near there. But because the person who chose him is a landlord or the part of the landlords of a kuodo, what me a defender and obia so ntimi anka bibia. Opasa o trebe say, aye bia no, sa meet me a year nra no. Dr. Bawumia mbisa ndada. They would have asked him already. Until this is just a PR gimmick.
Okay, etira asemi na say obi a o hide dan etim me fiewura na obeye fiewura e fiewura ne man me fiewura
no correct
On be detect ya man.
No. What you say?
Kushi so better than ahwe ani duane poman.
Yes. At the end of the day, no, say be may bow second part of the way now. Into not say it tells you say he's still not in charge. He can never be in charge. He can never have that total control over the party. As I say, omuta ne tindi ne ba ye no. Omunim say e favor be no mo de aye no. Wo hu odonkwa, wo ye odonko ne ma akonwa. Ofa oto afa esi. Akonwa no so, afa no so na esi abontere. Akonwa no ya mo dia no, omo ba, mbe yiwe firi ho. There's just saying a tenant does not plant flowers. A tenant does not plant flowers. And then, the way I said the American say, it tells you say, you're Dr. Bawumia, and yet dear, our total control over the leadership of the party. And someone there be say ba omwa o fi say ya bobo mudinya o fi asantemai. And Ukampono tells you say the MPP as a stance and the leadership has not been strategic at all. They have not been strategic at all. You say, Ekuone eye danko buzia dombo. Buzia fuedi. You say danko fuedi. And dombo for say, eduro moso. Kwambia so say, edema wamo. Na, I was say uhunu say, nanka ka danko numfua, danko kwanwa. Komo pe danko ni manasa diadia. Eno ntimi ebo kanu furiata din ebrebi etwam na so muhum se entwa yie edunti no ebeye den eba ne sen na obisa won se no mampani a 2007 wo hye obo no ho ba edma yero alan se aye bia na du so ampempen so no sa bre no me support ma wa den wodi ade nanka sasia na we ejuma wo ba besia kwe nanka if you are truthful and principled you would have supported Alan. And to support Alan means that the leadership of the party is coming back to the Ashanti support base. Oh, they are able to ban. And it's supposed to be Ashanti support base. What that means in say the Danko fraternity within the party Lucy leadership. Said Dr. Bawumia that the support base of the party will still control the leadership of the party. Because a tenant and a war paper or place of a landlord. And that is not possible. And behind the scenes, they can tell him in the face, so unyobia, and any and kaunyobia. And so no prosecuting the vision here, they are not there. I answer some no water.
Na said adenum yesi dankwa dombo buzia na dombo ni na aba dombo fuoni ma wo betwa no hia se dankwa etwa dankwa fo hia se dombo fo so ho.
What is the support base of dombo?
You say kura no wo political science analyst ka see pay apart from papa dombo for ben pa na benyom see pick be 5 random here ade.
What's it dombo for be?
Wo active power party mu.
So that it tells you, say, what is the support base of Dombo within the party? They don't have it. But in Kebeko go the Enko corner, that is the more reason why the establishment supported Dr. Bawumia and not Alan.
Say any power mu edi pop up e mu de hoin pa na wadwen o se ni mu odu pa obetimi aboba pay.
Yo. I don't know there. The American say omunyina obi anu a nanso eni no ho in their podcast career no they have exhibited they have contributed within the party the omaye de obi a betimi aye but this year no ya kwa koton woni the Bawumia o you must appeal beyond the party not just within the party.
Yeah, compare ibanku ra bia mo bia na tadim
edikan no yenhwe Dr. Duchum, a fine gentleman, no two ways about that. But in terms of the sector, education sector is in a mess. The educational sector is in a mess.
What mess ya?
from free SHS that ought to be reviewed that up to now. They think say opposition for ever latch on it, so they will not review it. And to know actually who are near share school reopening and vacation is in a mess. And now universities, yetimi edum pempenswa continue student about my first year sending MIA. Wasi I try yetimi compare yetumi dear against other West African countries. Say yankwane wasi unnu when I was the officer you have the FN saying the free SHS has achieved its standard. It has not, because you are just comparing yourself to yourself. So in the educational sector, it is in a mess. What your chance for in terms of kwanya omofaswa, I will say improve a free SHS. They are not allowing that. A common thing korana ni idea, ultimately food shortage ni idea. And unions, a cost strikes bebre. No more cost hana. Utie and someone would to natural say the center is not holding. So as a person, what I do to Mr. Fine Gentleman. But in terms of his performance at the education sector, and if that is what you are relying on to choose your vice, then for me, he will not stand the test of time. Young call Dr. Napoho. Yes, it appears say well no more a change the others, but I will not pick him. Why? Because only temperamental. He doesn't have a good temperament to be the vice president. Or munipa. And if you don't have good human relation, then certainly nipa word man it is going to be problematic. What yes. What's the energy sector and energy sector? My Kumasi in penny and nine. A baby a member will be doom so AC. The son say there is still a shortfall of the energy capacity. And then IPPs I threatened about some few weeks ago. So I saw Glyphos also at 13 years. So it tells you that the energy sector, legacy debt, Esla, abandoned the buyer, and then it is Emma, how many years into a years like the Triaka. So the whole of that place is also in a mess. But his personality, when it comes to the constituency, I think he has a very strong support base over there. Maybe because of his royal background, I can't tell. But I will not pick him. Now, you call say Chairman Sabons.
Before I call a round say Chairman Sabons. Now, put the no where so you should any two hash munipa human born.
Say in human relation.
I
didn't say the same thing about Dr. Duchum.
Of course, but when the end, you may pass over my example. But Dr. Duchum, you are okay. Maybe a parent.
Someone to water region for. At when be to water region for. Coco check as someone can find as if someone nipa.
Yawahino. Na memory.
But assembly a buyer. I quite to say the same thing. Joe Wise, for example, I've always said Joe Wise is a presidential material. Joe Wise is a presidential material. But ever since our passing comment about Nipokumasi Techiman South, in a very negative way, no, I'm not even saying so, because that for me was grossly irresponsible. So Nipa wakwaye bonikra. That's what before Kotikwan so. Ekum no abra court entimi mu ase nkokokum nipa ankofo kum nipa omo prisoner ya ma omo death warrant imposi yenkum omo no mota so prisoner omo ya hwe omo. This was just election nipa watwe ato ama besin na report bi amaye ye twen sa aban besesa no makwa hwehwe mu anasese. So such extrajudicial killing, our passing such a very bad comment on an then the issue is issue of parliament a year a fan is saying quota a quorum, the issue of quorum, rejection of the budget near the end. Kwanya or fast were year referee player and I didn't like it. But in terms of say the Cassadier, I think he speaks in a very silky manner. What you say? Or kasa obetimi e dia convince you so that you will be able to join him. So that one it is yeah. But na put here okay. Eye twikasa na America.
Okay.
Eye twikasa. And it is nothing personal. It is nothing personal. It is just public analysis. That is the decision. When you want to occupy a public officer, you must check your temperament. Enforce it. So if you want to know the character of anyone, give him power. Then you will really know how that is. So for me, I don't see how nature now. I don't see how you'll be able to cordially work with Napo without future conflict. Yes. No. About penny from our paria. I was say a man here, say, as a partner, so ultimate say, me opponent, a debe nipan of a funnel, or ban a bema. This is your bad, yeah. Then, as MPP, you can also play the wild card of making Fremont Opare the vice presidential candidate to Dr. Bawumia. So that for the first time in the Fourth Republic, or even the country, you bring a female vice president. That would be a beautiful idea because if it is not NDC winning, it is the MPP that will win. If it's not MPP winning, it's the NDC. Internet, I say, it may take care of the majority of our populace. That is the female. Then it will be a contest of ideas, intellectualism, what you say, connectivity, networking. So at the end of the day, Ghanaians will decide. But now maybe I can't say chairman Sabosu, and now what they win a chairman. I think say among the rest, say yes, beer or say chairman Sabosu, the support base I was swimming Atiaqua. In terms of political experience and being able to maneuver operations in parliament being an interface between the legislature and the executive, I think that it comes up tops. And then sometimes say Adiebu Wana a partisan or way as on my this is the way we should go. There you see say we in work for partisanship. So I think say he can be the best partner. He can be the best of the rest. But if I mention another person, if I know or say one time is it Bost or Bibi Penimu? Is it what I say? Oh, maybe finishing. So nice man be. Aye. So ababa yoko board Penim Crowd. And I pay me Bonidin. Oh, yeah, Bonidin can listen.
Eddie say.
Ashanti region, see Ashanti.
Because the me one year or say chairman, sir.
Dabi.
And
I'm saying be a more in the free. But
and I say you will do
at the moment, one year MP. At the moment, 1 year MP.
Now a Ghana port.
Your father say.
Or a lawyer?
I don't know.
Edward say.
We didn't know do it.
What they can answer? Yeah, can answer.
You know, or no say no, he's very unblemished. No
one answer.
It's a very no offense. What I say, or you'll be no
what can man answer me be no offense.
But at the moment, Nihu any sort our party anymore.
Oh, doctor.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, no, a Subin MP.
Oh no.
As they can say. Oh. Papa, no dear. Udi papa.
Thank you.
Nese fita.
Oh, no.
I know you're Subin MP. Now, the president could ready. And a Eugene found Kutunia.
So, hey, or no, he has an unblemished character. And I was saying what here, he can easily work with Dr. Bawumia. he can easily work with Dr. Bawumia. What I say. Now, I'm say I can't watch some back. Dear him pa.
Na obi ano once upon a time no president edie ya o feel say o ba party mu ja papa yi onu mo feel say obetimi Dr. Bawumia adwuma.
Oh, the suban there in the public domain me who say what done suban money be don't forget some time ago Dr. Shugabra was the boss of Mr. Mahama. A little later Mr. Mahama becomes the vice. He becomes the boss. Dr. Shugabra still remains a minister. Yeah. Mr. Mahama becomes the president. He makes him a minister. He's still the boss. So, one of the, it is only say we are hand time. And what you say to me, no, hey, we go to kum. If we go to kum, intino say, Onipa nanka nan and kano no, why you subordinate and now be your boss and intino. If we are some kind of then I don't think say you understand corporate governance.
Kwabena Japan.
Kwabena Japan, now the public outburst during the contest, primary, presidential primary, special delegate, they were presenting a very beautiful message. It tells you say he was not in support of the establishment. Pick him, a very nice man. I've always liked him. The fan says General Secretary. Before Mukakwa me catch me MPP Adam Fubi say, the man Traba now Kwabena Japan as General Secretary. Then oh and behold, he won that General Secretary. But Fopi and Antwata and I change him in sa and they ama in a one day I know our party in my form. You see, oh Kwabena Japan I say no baby someone say the constituency in any day. Which sector of the party does he control? Ultimately, say a bit timid at the on board in terms of Dr. Bawumia, Nekanko, and then Ahoteka, and then Jumadi. For now, he doesn't have it, so he will be a wrong choice. As far as though he is a very good material, no two ways about that, he will be a bad choice politically because we don't know his constituency now. Constituency not say be a parliamentary constituency, but a kuono say akokoto abana say unya one or say two or say three no. It tells you say locus within the party no very infinitesimal and I think say what Dr. Bawumia will need is someone who comes clout within the party. And if it's the Ashanti thing will be Samia. And no memma yatia say you say tradition is do more than Kwabuzia there. And a year bonko for the Asantifon Kwane Bawumia, then the MPP as it stands now is very unstrategic politically. Nielsen Komoye and say, yes, we know we are going to pick an Asante because you need someone that balance the deficiency of Dr. Bawumia Debano. And that deficiency is we need them. Tribe now will belong to no omunidom. At the moment, you know, when you Christo ni, and son say Christo for those who are my muha. Internet, I said, would you be a waba? Obey me, I then apply all these loopholes. No, they are supported Dr. Bawumia. That is the essence of deciding who becomes a partner to Dr. Bawumia. And until no say, but boss are dealing then there is a big problem within the party. Why? What are you telling the people of the Western region? What are you telling the people of Western North? I'm here MPP for. What are you telling Central Region people? I'm here MPP for. What are you telling the people of Greater Accra? What are you telling the people of Volta Region and Oti? Because if I'm using the Dankwa Buzia Domba, Yamfan said Dombo is the entirety of the Northern region. Yamfan said Buzia the Bono and the Ashanti. Yamfan say Eastern region Dankwa. Then it means that if you don't belong to any of this, your generation and your generation unborn can never be a vice presidential candidate or even a presidential candidate. Then, what is your locus within the MPP? You should ask yourself, what am I doing here?
Tiene kanena mo se mo fa ha na ma fa so ape ene akodi soro a na pen nso be asia na say akoye one way for the first of it can akodi srim de aden na ntonkwa anwona enko sehwi ana say bono ne miamia asema wo kan enura me kan tiefu a tie mi bia nim say enura me ka asemu yansa na me no kasa sa wona da bia na we number 1 na say na de be ka da bia waje ata woni asin tie ne wo mpedi wo de ama obi eti jan ni panon so tisi bu achi sinchina twa wo apese so number 2 akoye wa na ate so na so ye be ka se waje ata woni ye be ka sa kanfo party ka pa na ena wa ye no sa fine wa ne say gina nchen mate from steer to mate de ne say na ntisi sahwifo no ya so ye be di ngona fo no ye ho awo so amanfo no ene nzemafo no wo nyina so wo ho se de wo ka no no ti sa de ne mu nyina nchen na ye mpewe e bia na ebe wonderful pe ever kura ye nya bi owiase ma kura da wo eyi edi akase ye wura se eche mensa bonsu Joe Wise wan biem ma me free mo pare ene na ponum ne wan hwam nyina si nchene a na ye se ye kwa akohwe ayi beyond Ashanti region wura sehwene ne bono ne awowi so ama ne takora de ne mpotemu ne coast areas ya ebi enya pa bi kura be chen sa da bia akani mra na esremni mes lidi ne akani mra se ni me lidi yo
so no say at the moment no I see the Ashanti factor no a pacification
okay
yeah the ma me beka na sam jinama nkumiba policy yeah the other funu keke esan say the Ashanti region as it stands now in the 2024 elections can never be the same because of the island factor. It can never be the same. And now, the huge voter apathy, no, I will call them every Ashanti region, the more. What is it? And you know, Ushamwa, the way you know, the Kabomwa, Nasa me a Westerner and a Central. Now, me there one people. It tells me, say, my generation and the generation unborn, say, I say, Dombo Danko Buziano and the extra leadership there. Then all the rest, what are you doing? But what share NDC more? You share a free voter. Never send kind of voter new tea ekabum. If you voter, on one for Northern or far Central, you are Professor Mills or Mudivi or Majuma. Then a free voter no about Central. A free Central no, what share Central or far Martin and ye or far Mahama a ye. Or compare you had that combination now. Ufri hono share a northern region. Northern region is a akwakoyewe. And I can assure you, sir, there is a more likelihood, say, the next NDC presidential candidate will not be a northerner. It's likely going to be someone either from the West or Ashanti. So it tells you, say, the NDC appears more nationalistic than the MPP. The MPP appears to have just a narrow choice, but the NDC seem to have that way, a latitude of, getting. Also, Congress. And no more share obia no now then everybody will congregate around that person so that they will not have that so much internal acrimony. What you say? Omo contest within the NDC. Mean I say a bukura do tender at any point in time omo presidential way. So a whole MPP into that proper management. They have to look at that. So that they tame people's ambitions. What I say, then they'll be able to do that internal management. I am for confusion. Taking Dr. Bawumia is not a bad idea. But at this point in time, politics is about timing. The baggage that Dr. Bawumia is bringing with respect to Onu and Yakufado leadership, it's a big problem for the MPP. And now, it would have been better either taking Alan or somebody else. Canada, Japan would have been a fine way, but Onankasano, public outburst, it needs man management to build a proper and a solid profile for him. I'll bet me turn easily to the electorate in later years. So that is that.
Dog.
Yeah, me.
Yadi nyamijao. En command ye di nwida na ebre ni ntiram disi ya.
Some incomodi na ye modern ya na sana adesa so.
Me de se command ye matie for da ya na me de pa. Ujina fidie su nyina me hwe followers no. Etiba fama nka ma dismiss da. Who appreciate sa, who appreciate sa. Unim ya woka.
For God and country.
Unim ya woka. Dr. Jonathan Ochri Asante and I'm to say you know ebon komo no baba yam nka ho pa no onye okese obi ani pa na me pa me chow me ho wo bi wa ha fa niema bra kwa mam sisa man mami na me pa chotie nyame ya adom a ene ya wada